you guys, tonight is all about distressed properties, where to find deals, what to do next, and just honestly, like when you hear distress, some of y'all, a particular house might come to mind, but I'm going to share with you tonight that distressed could mean anything and everything, basically. So let's go. I already said that, y'all, about me. I told you I have slides, but I really don't use them. So, what does distress really mean? We're going to get started, you guys. Look at me being on time and punctual. So, distress, basically, somebody who is in a situation that's causing them anxiety, they might have lack of money. I looked up the word distress, and it basically pertains to anxiety, people who maybe don't have enough money to pay their bills, and things like that. I am your auction mama. I love foreclosures. My niche is foreclosures. My niche is the investment side. I worked on the retail side as a real estate agent. I always say this, I love my first time home buyers, but if you're a real estate agent, you know what I'm saying. I pivoted to the investment side. I love the investment side. I love working with investors, and my main focus is the distressed real estate side. So, distress could mean vacant properties, right? It could be probate when big mama, granddaddy, your mom, dad died, a family member died and left you a property and you don't know what to do with it. I say this all the time, you guys. I auction off big mama's house every week. I do. I hate that I do, but I do. A lot of people just don't know what to do when they inherit a house or they inherit a house that's two states over from them, right? So they don't even know what to do with it. I'm always auctioning off properties, rural properties in the middle of nowhere. Tax liens, right? These people are in distress because they ain't paid their taxes, right? They are behind on their property taxes. Code violations. It could be an environmental issue. The house is really run down, right? And then the city will give them a code violation for that. Those people can be in distress. Tired landlords, at some point when you just the tenant just stop paying their rent, and every time you drive by the house, they got a couch sitting on the front porch or they barbecuing in the front yard and not paying their rent. Tired landlords can sometimes be in distress. Y'all, I auction like every week. And every week there are investors on the foreclosure list. Like they're doubling in number here. And I know here in Memphis, we have like a private money lender that gives out money to investors to buy properties. And y'all, he is foreclosing on all his investors. I guess they weren't able to buy the property, rehab it, and, refinance it and pay him back. So he foreclosing on all his investors, you guys. So sometimes tired landlords. And then, of course, my jam, foreclosures. That is my focus. That is the main thing that I do focus on. So, distress. Oh, look at there. I didn't even know I put the little slides where they come in like that. Fancy me. So, what does distress look like? I think when a lot of people think of distress, and it can look like this, for those of you who drive for dollars, right? Those of you, when you think of a distressed property, you're looking for grass that's overgrown, or a boarded up house, or a house that needs lots of repairs. Let me back up and say, because y'all gonna be like, what's driving for dollars, right? I try to make sure everybody understands exactly what I'm talking about. So, a lot of investors or wholesalers will what we call drive for dollars. You drive through neighborhoods, look for properties, like I said, that the grass might be overgrown. It looks like it's vacant, needs lots of repairs, right? Mailbox is running over, whatever. And then they will write down those addresses, skip trace those homeowners, and reach out to them to see if they want to sell. That's a lot, like that's that grassroots. Like if you didn't got a lot of money for a VA and all these shiny objects, driving for dollars is like what you can start off doing. Okay. So a lot of times when we think distress, we think of these rundown, abandoned. People are always like, there's no good houses at the auction. All the houses at the auction are hood houses. Y'all, hold on, let me take this off because y'all know how I get. I'm gonna look at the chat. Are all the houses at the auction hood houses? Ray, Tawana, y'all can put it in the chat if you want to. Do y'all think every house that I auction off is a hood house?
No.
No. Absolutely not. Right? Hey, Kia. Glad I saw you because y'all know I'll be calling on you when I see you. So, um, this is why this class is so important because let me show you. So, first of all, let me go back because that's what I get for trying to get off the screen and then come back to the screen. If you ever been to my master class, you know how this works. So, what does distress look like? Boom. A lot of people think that this is what distress looks like right now, today, currently. What is today? May 27th. These houses back here, you guys, I Googled abandoned homes. These were the pictures that I copied and pasted and put up. These are the homes that's up for auction this week and next week and in June. These are the houses that are on the auction list. Marietta and Atlanta, y'all have auctions the first Tuesday of the month. I think both of these first two properties are going up for auction next week. This is what distress looks like. Now, y'all, I mean, I could look at these properties and be like, it's stressing me out just thinking how much your utility bill might be. Or looking at how much it's going to cost, stressed out, looking at how much grass I'm going to have to cut on this first house, right? But this is what distress is looking like right now. And luckily, these people right here in the middle are trying to sell it, which is a good thing, right? Try to sell it before it goes for auction. So, a lot of people will pick up I've heard of people buying their vacation house, their main house at the auction in properties like this, or buying them from somebody in distress. So let's keep going. So today, class, look at me with a little agenda on what y'all gonna learn today. Where to find distressed properties, free tools and websites to get started, how to know which strategy fits you, because I know a lot of y'all are beginners and maybe don't even know where to jump in. And you're seeing everybody talking about wholesaling or go to the auction or focus on this. And you like, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. Oh, sure, you can take notes. Y'all can take notes. Yes, I got a little pop-up. I don't know if y'all could see that. How to know which strategy fits you and why this market is a gold mine if you know where to look. So tonight I'm going to try to, at least if you've been wondering, like I want to get into investing, I don't know where to start, I don't know what's best for me, I'm going to try to help you narrow down a little bit, okay? Any questions? Y'all look how I did that. Did you see how I did that? Any question? Any questions? I'm pausing for questions. Y'all know I don't usually do that. I just talk through the questions. Any questions? Okay. Yeah, it is some really nice properties on the auction list. Y'all, it's a whole bunch of nice properties. Maybe if we have a chance, I'll go over some of those with you. I know somebody asked me about where to find properties. So if we have time, I'll go over that with you so y'all can see. So let's get back, class. Let's keep learning. So again, my jam, if you already know, is foreclosures. And foreclosures are a big part when you talk distress, you think foreclosures from pre-foreclosure to the auction to REOs. And if you didn't know, 25,000 new foreclosures started in April. I'm going to say it again. If you live in Georgia or Texas, don't forget y'all auction the first Tuesday of the month. So if you're in any of those states, even if you don't have any money, go to the auction, you guys, and you can see like what properties are going up for auction, what it's looking like. If you know, Atlanta made the list this month. What is this month? April. Atlanta made the list for foreclosures this month. I knew it was going to happen, but they're finally showing up on these foreclosure lists. So right now, I always try to, let you know what's going on in the housing market across the country. 36,000 properties had foreclosure filings in April. Lenders started, which are new foreclosures, people getting behind on their mortgage, started the foreclosure process on 25,000 properties in April. And the lenders repossessed almost 4,000 properties through the completed foreclosure process, which is also known as REOs. And we're going to talk about it. We will talk about all of these, and I will try to share my opinion, which is what I thought about when I made this class. If I was new, if I was an investor, where would I jump in at? So hopefully this can help you if you've been thinking about how to start investing. So y'all know I'm always going to have a story. If you've been in my masterclass, y'all probably like, not Steve again, not Steve and his family. It is. It's Steve. He's back with his family. So Steve, because I want to try to make this understandable. If you have no real estate experience, I'm going to try to make this crystal clear for you. Okay. And then I'll take questions if you have any questions. So, Steve lost his job during COVID and is struggling to pay his mortgage each month. Steve is 3 months behind on his mortgage. Okay, you guys. So, Steve is basically in pre foreclosure. He has not gotten the official notice that his house is going up for auction. He has not gotten the official notice from the bank that he is in foreclosure. Okay. Steve just know he has not been mailing in his mortgage payment, right? He knows that. He know his phone has been ringing off the hook. He know he been getting a lot. He know he hadn't paid his mortgage. That's what Steve knows. So pre-foreclosure, the initial stage in the foreclosure process when a homeowner gets behind on their mortgage. Okay. I always like to say the homeowner is still that decision maker. So that property that I showed you, they can still sell it before they go into, before their house goes up for auction. You can still sell your house if you're in foreclosure, right? I would just say communicate with your lender, communicate with your bank. But you can sell your house. I think a lot of people just freeze up with analysis paralysis because they're behind on their mortgage. You can still make some moves. You're still the homeowner in that situation. So I got this email from Allison. I think it was Allison. Um, she reached out to me and she said, I'm a first time home buyer, mom plus two kids looking for an REO deal. Do you recommend I send out letters, approach an REO homeowner? See, I love that because I know y'all, when you think foreclosure REOs, you think that's like interchangeable. But for people who know, who owns the house when it's an REO property? You guys, is there a homeowner when it's an REO property?
No. Right.
Right. Who owns it? I heard somebody say, who owns the property when it's an REO?
The bank.
Yep, the bank owns it, right? So I sent out a letter, like, do you recommend I send out a letter approach an REO homeowner? I've joined your YouTube webinar and it seems like the letters are geared towards investors to distribute, not me. When I mention REOs to agents, they don't really seem to want to do the work. What do you recommend? Thank you for asking, Allison. I got you. So Allison is just your first time homeowner, no knowledge of real estate, right? Never bought a home before, just want a home for her kids. Like we just trying to find probably a good deal because I feel like when people hear foreclosure, they think cheap, right? They think discount. It's a foreclosure. I'm about to get a deal on it. If you're a real estate agent, I'm sure people have asked you, like, I want a foreclosure. People come to me all the time and be like, I want a foreclosure. I want to come see you at the auction. And as we go through this, I'll let most people know you don't want to come see me at the auction, right? That's probably not where you want to start if you've never bought a home before. So, as a traditional home buyer, if you are just someone who's wants to buy a house, work a 9 to 5, just looking for maybe a cheaper house or a discounted house, should you send letters? You guys, you know what I'm gonna say? I'm gonna say no, right? And if you don't know what she's talking about, you guys, I do send letters out because I'm in real estate, you guys. I'm an investor. I do reach out to homeowners in distress. So one of my marketing ways are to send out letters. That's what she was talking about. As a traditional homeowner who's probably working a 9 to 5, who's just looking for your first house, should you send out letters? Probably not, right? Probably not. And I say that to say, if somebody call you back, you don't know what to say to them, right? You don't know how to write up a contract. You don't know how to do any of that kind of stuff as just a first time homeowner, right? So, what if you see your neighbor's house sitting vacant, right? Mr. Johnson, his grass is getting high. I heard he lost his job. He been kind of sick. Can I reach out to Mr. Johnson? Now, if it's a situation like that, I would say, yeah, ask Mr. Johnson what's going on if you want his house. But I would say you need to bring in somebody to help you, right? Because you don't know how to write up a contract. Mr. Johnson gonna tell you his house is worth $1.5 million and his house might only be worth like 62,000. You know what I mean? But you don't know. You don't know to get a home inspection and get an appraisal and all that kind of stuff. So that's when I would say enlist a professional, right? And another question, do you want a foreclosure or do you just want a deeply discounted property? right? And most people just want a deeply discounted property, foreclosure or not, honestly. So I would say if I was a home buyer, right? I thought about this. I'm like, if I was working 9 to 5, one of my first, I had kids, and I just want a deeply discounted property, or I just want a foreclosure, I would say go the REO route. And we're going to talk about that, right? But for Allison, I would say, hey, go check out these sites. We'll go through the sites, but REO might be your best bet, right? If you're willing to buy a property that might need some repairs, right? And you're willing to maybe, I'm okay with painting it, right? If I can get it for cheaper, I don't mind putting a new carpet to that property, right? REO properties, we'll talk about it. You can get an inspection on those properties. You can back out of those properties. REO bank owned properties have an agent that you have to reach out to who could probably assist you too if you reached out to them. So I would say brand new buyer, if you just want a foreclosure or you don't mind some repairs, go the REO route and we'll talk about that. So what if you're an investor, right? New investors, low budget, or you just, the funds are on the way and they just have not hit your bank account yet. You know what I mean? And you can't pay for all these CRMs and dialers and all that kind of stuff. I would go, you can drive for dollars, right? You could send out letters. You could try to make contact with people, with the homeowners. Keep in mind, we're still talking pre foreclosure, right? So, if you were a new investor looking for properties, Sania, I knew Sania was asking me about wholesaling. Maybe, and your budget has not grown to what it could be, maybe you can send letters. I live in Memphis, so I'm not door knocking. Y'all already know that. I've already put that out there. I don't door knock, right? But if you live somewhere like Connecticut, in Connecticut, maybe, they'll come to the door with some cookies or something. You know what I mean? So maybe that strategy would work for you. Okay. You guys, any questions going so far? Any questions? I'm going to check the chat. No questions, Roy, Frida, Bank. Okay, y'all answering the question. What is the starting price on something on the Zillow property? So, Tony, you're talking about the properties that I showed that are going up for auction. And it just depends. And we can talk about that when we get to the auction part. We can talk about opening bids. And when you talk about auctions, what are you thinking about paying on those? Any questions so far? No, not yet. Everybody's still good with me? Everybody's still rolling? Okay. You see, I took time to answer questions. I'm doing good. And we're still rolling. I'm still sticking to the slides. Next slide. Hold on, you guys. It's not sliding. Hold on. Let's see. Hold on, you guys. I think I clicked too much. Are y'all still with me? Yes, y'all are. Okay, let's try this again. Y'all know me and my. Let's see. There we go. Now we're back, you guys. Okay. So what do I do? Y'all see how I just went right into that after we had a little technical difficulty? Boom, picked it up like I never left off. So yeah, I do send letters, you guys. I do send letters. I send them every day, probably all the time. Now, back to Steve, you guys. Steve lost his job, struggling, hadn't paid his mortgage. He's 3 months behind, and now he got a certified letter in the mail. So Steve is officially in foreclosure. Okay, he's got the certified mail. Steve has 30 days to pay that past due amount. That's what happens when you go into foreclosure. When you officially get that notice of sale, you have to catch up and pay your entire past due amount, or they're going to schedule your house for auction. Okay. Steve tried but was unable to pay his mortgage, and his home went up for auction. Okay. Look at me, you guys. There's your auction mama. Look at me. So, auctions, you guys. A lot of people ask about that. A lot of people hit me up all the time. Ashley, I want to come to the auction. Most of y'all's blood pressure cannot handle the auction. I'm just going to be completely honest with you. I'm going to ask a question. How many of y'all, and if you've been to my masterclass, you've heard this question before. How many of y'all would buy a house that you cannot see the inside of? If you cannot see, you do not get to see the inside of it. How many people would buy a house you can't see the inside of? You have to pay cash for it, all of the cash at one time for it without seeing the inside of it. Yes or no? Me. Y'all, we got hands up. I see. Yes. Depends on the price. Me. Sania, how long does it take for the property? No way. Look at Dream. No way. Depends. Me. No. So a lot of people are like, I want to come to the auction, but when you really realize what the auction is, a lot of y'all are like, you know what? Never mind. That's not where I want to buy a house. So at the auction, let's get back to where we were. This is what I get for just clicking so much. I know, you guys. At the auction, you guys, you're buying sight unseen. Sight unseen, people still living in the house. Steve still in the house. Y'all, Steve is still in the house. Steve could not come up with his payment, and his auction day passed, and he was still in that house with his 3 kids and his wife eating breakfast every day. And his house went up for auction. Okay? So, if you are a beginner and you don't have any prior experience with buying real estate, none of that, do I recommend the auction for you? Probably not, you guys. There are things, and I'm not going to go all the way into auctions. It's a master class on Thursday. If y'all want to come learn all about auctions, it's a master class on Thursday. But I had a guy at the auction last week, right? And he was not an investor, he was not a hedge fund, but he was there. And he said, after the auction was over, he came over to me and he said, um, just made sure that his money was right, because when you come see me, you have to have the complete amount of money. You guys, if it's $500,000, if it's $5 million, you have to have it with you at the auction. Okay, in certified funds, not in a duffel bag or a suitcase or nothing like that. So he came up to me to make sure he had his money right, and he said, "I'm not an investor." He said, "But my son and my daughter-in-law, their lease is up at the end of June, and I was going to try to buy them a house here so they can stop renting." Right? Now, for him, yes, he can buy at the auction, right? He's bought a house before. He knows how real estate works. He was a little nervous because I think it might have been his first time at the auction, but I think he had done his due diligence a little bit. But like, if that's the situation, then okay. But if you're brand new and you never bought a house before, the auction is probably not the way you want to go. Y'all with me? Does that make sense? I mean, I would love to see all of your faces at the auction, but I don't want you losing your money, is what I'm saying. I don't want you to lose your coins and never speak to me again. So usually at the auction, it's investors looking for under market properties. Y'all ask me about the prices of those other properties. Usually the opening bid is the loan balance, okay? The opening bid is the loan balance. So if they've been in the house 20 years, their loan, they should have paid off a majority of that loan, so the opening bid will be low. If they just bought that house last year or 2 years ago, they're going to owe that entire loan. So the opening bid is going to be high, okay? I don't know if I have those opening bids yet for those properties that I showed, but that's usually how it works. Opening bid is the loan balance, what the homeowner owes, okay? And a home buyer hoping to find a deal with cash in hand, like the guy who's buying for his daughter-in-law. So, pros for buying at the auction, you guys. Potential for deep discounts. Yes, I always have said it before, you guys. I've sold houses for $500 at the auction. $500 was the price of the house. Fast closings, right? There is no closing, right? I had one lady, she bought a house and she's like, "Now when do I go to closing?" I was like, "Ma'am, we done opened and closed everything already. There is no closing. Once you give me your money, I give you a receipt and they send you your deed in the mail, and boom, you have closed." So, no middleman or drawn out negotiations, right? Like, you can't negotiate with me at the auction. There is no, whatever the opening bid is, boom, that's it. There's no negotiations or anything like that. Now, the cons to buying at the auction, you guys, if you did not know, you don't get any inspections, right? Like I said, Steve is still in the house with his family eating breakfast. Everything is still there. Okay, so you don't know what kind of repairs are needed, right? You don't know what the inside of that house looks like, and you got tenants living in it. Must be able to fund pretty quickly. Again, I need all your coins at the auction as soon as it's over. And also, title issues could be a problem when you're buying at the auction. I'm not going to dwell too much into auctions. We have an auction masterclass on Thursday if y'all really want to know about auctions. So, auctions, more experience for sure, I would say, not for your beginner. I saw everybody say they would not buy a house at the auction that you cannot see the inside of, right? So, you guys, my little screen is not going to the next. It's not going to the next thing. Let's see. You guys, hold on. I think I just because I clicked too much. That's probably what it is. Can y'all see me? Yes, you can. Okay, let's see if we can get our screen back working. Okay, next. Here we go. Now we're here, you guys. Sorry. It's because I clicked too much. That's what it is. So here's the opportunity at the auction. I kind of like to share with you all what comes up for the auction, and y'all like to tell me if it's a good deal or a bad deal. So this is an actual auction that actually happened right in California. The opening bid was $336,000, right? It got bid up to $349,000 and the investor bought it. I guess they might have put a little work in it. I'm not sure, but they turned around and sold it for $460,000. So they bought it for 349, sold it for 460. What do you think, you guys? Good deal, pass, good deal, no deal? What do you think? How do you mitigate the risk? Why would you investor take a chance at the auction? Good deal. Everybody saying great deal, great deal, good deal. I see you guys. So good questions, KL. How do you mitigate the risk? Why would investors even take a chance at the auction? So if you know what you're doing, that's what it is. If you know how to do a title search, right? If you know you're buying the right lien. If you're an investor, think about a lot of people at the auction could be hedge funds, their own property management. They are investors who own multiple properties. They have contractors on payroll, right? A lot of our big hedge fund and property managers come to the auction, right? So they can drive by a house, right? And they look on Zillow, okay, it's 3 bedrooms, 2 bath. They can estimate. They already know, okay, if I got to redo the paint, the carpet, put in new appliances, it's going to cost me this amount of money, right? They already know how much money it's going to cost to fix it up. So if they can get it at the right price, it's worth it to them, right? You just have to know your numbers. And that's why I'm saying I would definitely say the auction is for more experienced investors or somebody who's not afraid to do some repairs. You know what I mean? Does that make sense, KL? Good deal. Everybody's saying good deal, great deal, good deal. You just have to know what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying don't come, but I'm saying know how to swim when you jump in. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying don't jump into the ocean. I'm just saying if you're gonna jump in, you gotta know how to swim in the ocean. That's all I'm saying. Y'all see how I came up with that analogy real quick. See? Okay, next. Let's see if we can get this thing clicking. You guys, I don't know why my little board won't go to the next thing without me clicking. Okay, don't worry, we'll figure this out. Let's see. Stop share. Today, my little screen is not working like it usually works for some reason. I don't know. But we're back again. Next house. Can everybody see the next house? Here it is. Here's the one that you all were talking about. This one is going up for auction next Tuesday. I think next Tuesday is the first Tuesday of the month. So I try to share with you all what is actually coming down the auction. So when everybody's like, it's just a hood house at the auction, or you can only buy, run down houses, it's not true, you guys. And I don't know what the opening bid on this one would be. You'd probably have to look and see when they bought it or how long ago they bought it and see how much they owe on the loan. But the opening bid is the loan balance. So if they've been in it for a while, you might can still get a good deal. Here's another one. I don't know if y'all, let me move my face off the screen. So here's another one, you guys. Opening bid is 227. It sold, it got bid up to 496. And the investor turned around and sold it for 642,000. Y'all think that was a good deal? Good deal, no deal, bad deal. He spent too much. Sold for 496. Bought it for 496 at the auction, sold it for 642. What do y'all think? Good deal?
Good deal.
Good deal? Good, good. I guess if you make any money, it's probably pretty good, right? Okay, so I didn't forget about the real estate agents. I didn't forget about y'all. When it comes to buying at the auction, you guys, a lot of people ask me, like, I have investors who want to buy the auction. Can I get paid? Yes, there are some properties at the auction, depending on what site you're bidding on. Real estate agents can get paid. Okay. You just have to go and sign up as a broker, buyer's premium, broker co-op available. So you could get paid. I always try to let y'all know that, right? So you just sign up, register your client. So if you have investors looking to buy auctions, boom, you can get paid. Here's another one. I only show these because I like to show that you guys, one, it's a lot of people hurting, and not I like to show it. My thoughts got kind of mixed up there. But y'all, like a lot of people are in distress, right? I talk to people every day, all day. They got divorced, right? And now they can't afford that mortgage on their own. They lost a spouse. They can't afford that mortgage on their own. They might have got laid off, right? Now you can't afford your house. You might have had a brand new house built and didn't realize your taxes was going to double the next year, right? Because that first year they only count the taxes on the land. Now the next year they got the house on the land and the taxes. And now you can't afford it. So it's a lot of properties like you get brand new homes in distress, honestly. Here's another one, so many. So I mean, I guess if you live in Santa Barbara, California, right? Here's another one. Worth 7.7, opening bid was $4.3 million. Is that a good deal in California? Look, in Memphis, you can buy the whole city for like 4.3 million. But, in California, I know y'all's real estate prices can be a bit out there in California. So, oh, and if you want to learn more about auctions, don't forget Masterclass on Thursday. If you want to know where to find auctions, you guys, here are some good sites. Auction.com, and I can walk you through some of these if you want to. Realty Track, bidforassets.com, Williams Auction, and 10x.com. Some really good sites to go on. Look for auctions. Look for pre-foreclosures because it's a pre-foreclosure before it goes up for auction. But these are some sites I'm pausing so y'all can write them down if you want to or screenshot. Any questions while people are kind of writing down? Any questions? Any questions? Can you go back to the realtor option to get commission? Where would you sign up and the website? So, good question. Let's see. My screen will let me go back today because it's having a problem. So usually like on these online sites. So for me, I'm at the courthouse. I do trustee sales. So there's no way an agent could get commission for me at the courthouse. But on auction.com, right? Realty Track, these online auction sites, see it shows you check the property detail page, have your agent or broker register for the property 24 hours before the auction. And then you go through, and if your client wins it, then you get paid off of it. So this will be auction.com. This one's auction.com. Realty Track, a lot of those other sites, these that I put up here, let's go right here. A lot of them offer commissions, right? Williams Auction doesn't, but auction.com, Realty Track, I think Bid for Assets does. They do offer, not on all the properties, but they do offer on some properties. Can the realtor or representative bid on your behalf? Do they deliver your check and how? So, Kale, can the realtor or representative bid on your behalf? So with me, I'm going to answer this the way I think you're asking. Me at the courthouse, at the auction, people can bid on your behalf. It's always out of town investors, or if you got someplace to be, it's always like, especially if it's a hedge fund or a property management, they're going to send somebody to the auction for them, and they will just have the checks with them or how much they're willing to pay for a property, and they'll know what property they're supposed to bid on, right? And bid on it and just put the information of the actual person. So people can bid on your behalf. Absolutely. Now, if it's a real estate agent bidding on your behalf, I'm not going to give them a commission or nothing. I guess y'all would have to figure out how y'all going to work out commission and stuff like that. But courthouse, trustee sales, no commission. But these online auction platforms, auction.com, yes, commission, and yes, people can bid on your behalf. People can bid on your behalf on any of the sites, on any of them. I hope that answered your question, KL. People can bid for you. So if you're looking for commercial auctions, here's some commercial property auctions. And if we have enough time, we'll walk through a few of these. So if you're looking for auctions, commercial, that's like if you're looking for restaurants, hotel, motel, mobile home parks, office parks, everything that's commercial auctions. Okay. And these are some sites. I'm trying to talk a little bit. Anybody got any questions so I can make sure everybody's, writing it down or screenshotting it and all that kind of stuff? Am I missing any questions? I think I'm doing good on questions, actually. Okay, next. And next and last is land, right? If you're looking for some land, I know a lot of people are interested in buying land. Here are some good land websites: Land Watch, Land and Farm, Farmers National. If you just want to move away from everybody and get off the grid and just raise your own cows and chickens, and then you don't have to pay $12 for eggs. You know what I mean? Just get your own eggs. You can go to Land Watch and find you some farmland and start all over again. Everybody with me? Everybody with me? Okay. So, things to remember when going to the auction, you guys. Deeds and refunds come in the mail. Deeds and refunds come in the mail. Okay. I don't have any refunds. I don't have any deeds. And when you go to the auction, if you want to go, make your cashier's checks payable to yourself, you guys. Make them payable to yourself. So if you win the property, you can just turn it over and endorse it to the auctioneer. If you don't win it, you can deposit it right back into your bank account without a problem. Make sense? Good. Look good. Hold on. Did my screen do what it did again? We were doing so good. I think I was clicking on something. It's me. I'm the problem. I'm always the problem. Okay, you guys. So moving right along. We're not through. We have one more section to get through. Any questions, you guys? Any questions? Any questions? Let's see if I can get to the next screen without a problem. Okay, I'm gonna take that as no questions. If we have any, I will. Really good. That's me. Yes, yes, yes. Got you. Okay. Steve has 30 days to pay the past due amount or his home will go up for auction. Steve tried but was unable to pay his mortgage and his home went up for auction, right? But guess what? Steve just bought his house like 2 years ago. And hold on, you guys. My little screen is not. There we go. Hold on. It's not changing. You guys, I'm sorry. I don't know why the screen is not changing today. But it did not sell. Steve's home reverted back to the bank, right? And Steve's home is now a what? REO property. I usually wait for y'all to say it, but I know a lot of y'all know. So Steve's home went up for auction, right? It did not sell at auction and reverted back to the bank. We call properties that revert back to the bank REO properties, right? Right. Y'all, my little screen is not. There we go. Steve's home is now an REO property. This is where I think most people want to jump in at when we're talking distressed market. When people say, Ashley, I want a foreclosure, when they say I want a discounted property, REOs are what they are usually talking about and don't know that. Or REO is the route that I would tell people to go. Okay. And I'll explain why. So REO properties have completed the entire foreclosure process and they are now owned by the bank. Okay. So the bank has picked up the property. The bank has put Steve out of his house, right? They usually have trashed out the property and now the bank owns it, right? Now they can be sold as is. They are usually sold as is. So that means they might need some repairs. Okay. But you don't have the title issues that you have with at the auction. You don't have tenants living in the properties like at the auction. You can do an inspection. You can walk through with your home inspector, your brother who fixes floors and paints. They can come in there and see all the repairs that that house needs before you buy it. Okay. And then if your brother's like, look, it's too much, you can back out of that deal. Okay. When it comes to REO properties. At the auction, you guys, if you change your mind, you just got to change the mind, but you don't get any money back, right? Like after you pay at the auction, that's it. But REO properties are just like a traditional sale. Like Allison at the beginning of this masterclass, first time home buyer, never bought a house. She probably has like a FHA conventional loan. She could use traditional financing when buying an REO property. Here's another one. The point of me putting this property up is, you guys, you see it's worth 3.4 million, right? Opening bid is 2.4, okay? A lot of these properties, if they were just bought in the last couple of years, that opening bid is going to be too high. Like nobody's going to buy it. You come to the auction for a discount. That's why you don't come to the auction to pay full price. Okay? So a lot of properties that were just bought in the last few years, their opening bid is going to be high, right? They just bought it, they bought it at the peak of the market. A lot of times they're upside down at this point. The opening bid is more than what the house is even worth right now, right? So they are reverting back to the bank and becoming REO properties. Like this one would probably revert back to the bank. Okay. They bought it in 2022. So a lot of times, bank owned properties might be the way to go. So what's the difference? REOs, you negotiate. Boom. That is the biggest thing, you guys. And if any of you, when you get off of this masterclass and you start looking at REO properties, negotiate. Everybody, look where I put my face in the middle of the screen. Negotiate. Okay. It is the bank. So you can negotiate with the bank. Auctions, you're bidding against other people and you can't negotiate with me. Okay. The opening bid is the opening bid. And then you just have to bid $1 over that. Depending on where you live, auctions can be competitive, right? Just depending on where you live. REOs, you can negotiate, right? And it can be competitive too, depending on where you live there too. Like I said, see, I told you I do slides, but I really talk all the way through it. But auctions, you cannot look at the property. People live in it. You would have to evict them, maybe send them cash for keys. But if they squatting, like I see people squatting, you have to take them to court and all that kind of stuff. So that would be the delayed of you even getting the house. You got to put people out first. REO, the bank owns it. You can use traditional financing like a typical home. You can get a home inspection. You can get an appraisal and you can change your mind. That's what you can do with the bank, right? Also, auction, like I said, cash only at the auction are certified funds. REOs, financing is allowed. So, I would think if I was a brand new home buyer looking for properties, wanting to maybe start investing, go the REO route, okay? So, and realtors, I did not forget about you. Of course, y'all can specialize in REO properties. Who is it? Bubba Mills has that REO class that you can take and get a certification in REOs. Those different sites you can sign up. What I think it's like Equator and all those other sites that you can sign up to be an REO listing agent, right? And you can represent the bank on these properties, right? That's a really good look off the record. That's a really good route that you probably want to try to look into. Or I'm talking about off the record, and it's a recorded masterclass.
Can
But
I say something real quick?
yeah,
You know those sites that you
who was that,
sign
right?
up with? Yeah.
Yeah,
VA sent me an email the other day, VRM,
yeah,
for me to complete my application and move forward to be one of their vendors.
yes, Ray. That's what I'm talking about. Ray in Maryland. Everybody up there in Maryland in the DMV. And I think that's on this. I think I put the slides on here. Look at Kia right there. I see you, Kia. Um,
Same thing for me. They sent me an email too, wanting me to be a vendor, but I keep missing the darn meeting.
Oh, look, so everybody on here, y'all see, like, and I'm not saying it's because they ramping up, but I'm saying it's because they ramping up and everybody in foreclosure. So that's all I'm saying. If you didn't believe me, listen to everybody else on here. I think I put the slide. There it is. Because your girl is good. There it is. There's this, like some sites. Look, Kia, which one is wrong? LRES is wrong, ain't it? So here are a couple of sites. Don't do Lighthouse Residential. Lighthouse Residential is not. a good one. But some of these are sites that you can sign up with if you're an agent and want to represent REOs. You got to go on there. You got to put in your information, right? Make sure it's complete. Make sure your profile is complete. But all I'm saying is they might start calling you. I'm just saying. So go on there. They do want your broker information. You got to have some insurance. You got to be licensed because that's going to be the other thing y'all ask me. Do you have to be licensed to be an REO agent? Yes, 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 yes. You got to be licensed, okay, to represent banks. So you got to be legit on that part. So here are some sites. Don't do LRES. They changed their name. But the other sites, and Equator. Equator is another big platform that y'all can sign up for. I'll pause it right there while y'all get those. Any questions real quick while I'm right
I
here?
I put it in the chat for
Thank you.
RES
There you go. Y'all check the chat.
company.
Check the chat. Boom. What is the VA site? VRMproperties.com. Right, like Ashley. Isn't it VRM Properties?
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
VRMproperties.com. I dropped it in the
Yeah.
chat. Can you use conventional loan for REO? Yes. Now, keep in mind, when it comes to different loan types, it's going to depend on the condition of the house. So, yes, conventional loan, you can for an REO. But now, if it needs a lot of repairs, you can't go FHA. And if you didn't know that, if you've never bought a house, FHA is stricter on their guidelines on what the house needs to look like. Now, if it was a typical home buying purchase and it needed repairs, the homeowner, right, could do the repairs and then all that. But it's the bank. The bank not going to do repairs. So if the house needs too many repairs, you can't go FHA, right? You could do FHA 203K. That's that rehab loan. You could go conventional because conventional allows for repairs, a certain amount of repairs. You could go hard money if you got a hard money lender. Um, I guess you could go HELOC, get a home equity line of credit. You know what I mean? Just keep those things in mind. If it needs a lot of repairs, some of these banks won't touch them unless it's a special kind of loan. That makes sense to everybody? Yes, maybe, maybe not, maybe so. We dropped it. Look in the chat if y'all have wondering about the sites. Okay, cool, cool, cool. Y'all gonna learn today? Look, if I don't know, somebody in this class is gonna know. So also y'all ask me about if you're not an agent, what can I do, Ashley? I want to do property preservation. I want to do trash outs and clean out, and I want to do landscaping, and my uncle know how to paint houses. You know what I mean? There are other vendor opportunities that you can sign up for with some of these bank sites like Fannie Mae, right? I always say, I don't know if this link will take me because the link been acting kind of crazy, but Procure One dot Fannie Mae. It's a site where you can sign up. It's their vendor site. And if you do trash outs and contracting opportunities, let's see if it'll take me. Oh no, now I gotta sign it. Oh, I ain't never had to do that, but okay. Oh, I guess it's got to be capital. Mm. Or maybe I'm a robot. Okay, it's not gonna work. I don't know what it is, but anyway, Procure One is one of those sites that you can sign up with Fannie Mae. Let's see, Fannie Mae, and if you are a contractor, a landscaper, property preservation, one of those type of people, you got to be legit, right? Because you work with Fannie Mae, a government entity. I always say this. Cash App is not a professional form of payment. Cash App is not a professional form of payment. So you need to be legit if you want to sign up for one of these vendor sites. Okay? Everybody understand what I'm saying? Cash App is not a professional form of payment. If ain't nobody ever told you that, I'm telling you today. So those are if you're not an agent, ways that you can get involved. And with the foreclosures that are coming in REO properties, y'all, they need people to trash out and clean out and do landscaping. And they might do a little bit of repairs on the house. So I would just say go on here, fill out the application, sign up, and get in where you fit in is all I'm saying. Everybody with me? Any questions? Because I think we coming up on the end. I've done so good. What time is it? Is it still Tuesday? Yes. Okay. So this is just another property. Looks like it was bought in 2021. Opening bid is 269, 733, and it's worth 335. Hmm, hmm. Y'all, it's a lot of people losing their house. Here's another one. Opening bid 2.4. It's only worth, they've got it estimated 2.2. So would y'all buy this? Opening bid is 2.4. It's looks like it's worth 2.2. Y'all passing or buying? Y'all buying or no? Nope.
Mm.
Nada. Nope. 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 Right. So that would go back to the bank, right? Because most people would not pay that. And then that will become an REO property. Can y'all imagine? Y'all just better hold on. That's all I gotta say. Hold on for these properties to start coming, and they're not hood abandoned properties that are coming down the list. REO websites. Here's some. Wells Fargo, Bank of America, and Truist all have their own REO sites. HUD, Home Store, Home Path, and Home Steps are all REO bank owned sites. I'll walk you through maybe one of them at the end if we have time. You know what I mean? But these are where you can go on, find the properties, you submit your application, you could submit your contract. You can have, okay, so people ask this. You can use a real estate agent when you buy REO properties. Like if you have an agent that you love and you find a property, you tell your agent to submit your contract. They go online, submit all your information, your pre-approval letter, and all that kind of stuff, right? Negotiate. You guys, hear me. Hear me very well. You know me when it comes to paying for properties. We play in limbo. How low can you go? Right? So negotiate. Okay. So here's some sites. Any questions? I'm asking for questions because I know some of y'all might be writing or trying to take pictures or something like that. Any questions? Y'all got any questions? Oh, it changed. I'm sorry, y'all. Okay, let's keep going if there's no questions because we're almost done. Here's some other sites. So on auction.com, when you filter it, you can filter auction.com by REO properties and by foreclosure, which are auction properties. You can filter it by those two. So if you're looking for an REO bank owned, you can go to auction.com and find those two. Also Realty Track, Hubzu, Xome, and Zillow. A lot of times on Zillow, you can filter it by, I think it's REO on Zillow. I don't really be on Zillow like that, you know. But you can look on Zillow for REO properties. I'm gonna leave it up there for a couple of seconds. Any questions? Any questions? Kia, you over there doing BPOs? I know Kia like, dang it, Ashley, leave me alone.
Is,
You are you?
yes, ma'am. I just got another offer coming through, so I'm double dip.
There it is. Go over there. Work. That's what I'm talking about. Y'all better work the distressed market, is all I'm saying. Because I know that residential market looking a little shaky depending on where you live. But
Hey, actually, I got a question for you.
yeah, Anthony, is that you?
Yeah, that's me. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's me. Hey, what is the deepest discount that you've ever seen someone get on an REO property?
See, and that's like me. I'm okay. So, and I think I've talked about this before. Hold on, you guys, because y'all know when I talk, I be wanting to put my big face in the screen. So, when I'm bidding, like I had a friend who was bidding on an REO property, right? And I was helping her behind the scenes figure out what to bid on. What I usually do is I'm going to look and try to do some investigation work to see what that person foreclosed on it for, right? Like I
Okay,
can look back on Zillow, MLS, depending on where you live, and I can see what they paid for that house and how long ago they paid for that house. And that'll kind of give me an idea if they bought it like 20 years ago, I'm gonna come in kind of low because they shouldn't owe that much on that house. But
right,
if they just bought it in the last 3 or 4 years, I know the bank probably trying to look for something closer to, how much they paid. But that doesn't mean anything, right? Because what the bank want and what I'm willing to pay have nothing to do with each other, right? Because it's the
right,
bank. So, but that's what I will do. I will do some research, but I mean, stay in your numbers. A lot of people do that 70% rule. If they say no, they just say no. And then you just wait, swing back around again. You know what I mean? And see, go that route. Um,
Have,
yeah.
have you ever did anything less than 70%?
On
Like
an
50%?
REO, like on a bank-owned
Yes.
property. So, Anthony, and if these people, I know a lot of people on here don't know me that well. I don't be fooling with like I go for my own deals. Remember, like I'm gonna try to be off market where ain't nobody else. I don't have any competition. That's I like to hunt. I like to hunt for my own deals, right? I'm gonna want the best price. I don't need all the middleman involved in my deals. But I mean, I have had people, I've helped people buy on market, but that's what I would say. But still, I know the bank will counter with you a couple times. I've countered with the bank at least 3 times, right? So go in low, let them counter, and that kind of stuff. So I know y'all, Ashley and Andy done had their whole little conversation in the whole masterclass, y'all. Um, any other questions? Y'all, I'm almost finished, honestly. Okay, so real quick, I wanted to let everybody know, if you didn't know, I try to let you know. HUD, new rule alert. Let's hope it goes to the site. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. I think it's up there. There we go. So this is not a political thing at all, but they did just go back on the restrictions on foreclosed properties on HUD. HUD used to have a first look program. So if you were buying an REO property, a bank-owned property, owner occupants and nonprofit used to have the first look. You could bid first. They have changed that, right? It was put in place a 30-day period where nonprofits and owner occupants could bid first. They have changed that now. Look, I thought I signed in. They've changed it now. Now everybody is on the same playing field. Investors, hedge funds, owner occupants, everybody now has this, you can buy it the first day as an investor if you want to, basically. So just thought y'all should know that. I know it's supposed to be on HUD Home Store. I don't know if everybody's gonna walk it back like HomePath, or owner occupant HUD approved nonprofits. I don't know if it's just gonna be HUD Home Store, if it's gonna be all of them are walking it back. So yeah, it was a little exclusive window. But now I guess the first look people wasn't looking hard enough. So now they just opened it up for everybody. So just thought everybody should know that in case you didn't know that. The rule has changed. So another property opening bid 2.7, it's worth 2.8. It will probably go back. They bought it in 2023. You get behind on one mortgage payment on a $2 million house, it's a wrap. It's a wrap for you. So, like I was saying, on auction.com, you can filter it for bank owned or foreclosure, which means auction. So if you're looking for bank owned, click on that. If you're looking for auctions, click on that one. And like I always tell you guys, stay on your budget. Stay in your budget. That's like a life lesson. Stay in your budget at all times, in life, in money, in everything. Stay in your budget. You know what I mean? I don't care if you're buying an REO, if you're working with a homeowner pre-foreclosure, if you at the auction, if it gets bid up above your budget, let it go. Let it go. Okay. If you're doing a deal with the bank and they will not come down to the price where you want to be, let it go. Like Elsa said on Frozen, just let it go. You know what I mean? And if you're dealing with a homeowner that's just delusional and will not lower their price for you, that's okay. You just keep it moving. Okay. So stay in your budget. So look at me with my cool self. So I would say, look like choose your character, like it's a video game. If you were a beginner, right? If you're a beginner and Sania said she was wholesaling over there, you know what I mean? I'm not wholesaling. The only reason I'm like skipping around wholesaling is because if you don't know what a wholesaler is or what you're doing, you're going to be real confused, right? So limited funds, beginner, just starting out, and we're not trying to wholesale or anything, I would go bank owned, probably, right? I would just probably, or maybe I would partner with an investor, right? That knows what they're doing. If I trusted somebody, right? Something like that. Or I would go bank owned because again, y'all can do traditional financing. I know some FHA loans, what they take in 560 credit scores, depending on where you go, they might take lower than that. You need what, 3% down, 3.5% down, maybe. Shoot, the way the mortgage lender's hurting right now, they might let you, they'll find some funds for you. Down payment assistant, waive your appraisal, waive everything to get you in the house. So I would probably go REO route. You know what I mean? Where you can do an inspection, all that kind of stuff. Now, if you know how to wholesale and all that kind of stuff, then yeah, you could do that. Partner with somebody, send letters, cold call. I live in Memphis, so I'm not door knocking. But if you live somewhere safe, then you can do that too. Now, if you got a larger budget, for sure, you can go buy at the auction, right? You can do all of the above if you got a larger budget and you know what you're doing, right? You can do flips and rentals if you're going to buy and hold, or if you're going to flip it, for cash. You can do all of those. And you probably would have money to be able to invest in, skip tracing and CRMs and all that kind of stuff. But it's not about having the biggest budget. It's about having the best strategy for what you've got. And that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like, run your own race. You know what I mean? Like, figure out what the end game is. Are you trying to rentals? Like, is this your retirement? A lot of us in real estate don't have like 401ks and all that kind of stuff. So you're trying to build up retirement and cash flow and this residual money. Or are you trying to flip some houses? You know what I mean? You're trying to build up your cash, right? You just figure out what your game plan is. What's the end game for you? And you go that route. That's why I came back to the investment side. When I became a real estate agent, I got my license to be an investor, right? I just happened to start getting into helping other people, like on the retail side and first time home buyers. But the goal when I got my license was to always be an investor. So now I'm back on the investment side. So you guys figure out what your game plan is what I would say for sure. And let me see. Look, did I make it to the end? And then there's other opportunities in distressed real estate, right? Those hoarder houses or divorce situations, people losing their jobs, because I mean, that's every day, all day right now. Code enforcement and a lot of storm damaged properties. A lot of people are trying to, just can't afford to rebuild. I will say this. Let me put my face in the middle of the screen. If you know me, you know my motto is lead with love, right? When you're talking about people in any kind of distress situation, right? Lead with love. Please, y'all be hurt, not y'all. Some people harass the heck out of people. You know what I mean? Just constantly calling, constantly bullying and intimidating them and all that kind of stuff. That's not my way. Hopefully, that's not your way either. It might be if it is. But y'all, I would say lead with love, right? Working with a distressed homeowner is completely different than working with your traditional homeowner who can move when they feel like it. We just need a bigger house and we just moving down the street. That's not these people. These people are like facing homelessness and facing all, job loss and not knowing where they're going to go. So it takes a different type of person and personality and compassion to deal with people in these situations. So I would just hope you would lead with love if you want to. That's what I would say. And boom, masterclass on Thursday. If y'all want to come and learn all about auctions and title searches and how to find auctions and how to set your budget and all that kind of stuff, you guys, masterclass on Thursday. And look at us. We made it to the end, you guys. We made it to the end. And is it an hour? It's like 8:09. I'm doing good. Give myself a pat on the back. So, you guys, where do you find me? If you didn't know this, you guys, I'm on YouTube with over 300 videos on YouTube, all about auctions, foreclosures, all that kind of stuff. So if you don't have any money, you can just go watch YouTube, right? You can just go watch that and learn as much as you can, right? That's it, you guys. I did so good. I'm so proud of myself, you guys. But that's it. We made it to the end of the masterclass, you guys. Do y'all have any questions? Y'all can tell me where you're from. If you're ready to go to bed, y'all can get off. It was good to see everybody. Sweet dreams. Have a good night. Have a good day at work tomorrow. Yes, it is a replay. I will send it out tomorrow. I will send it out tomorrow for y'all to get the replay. If you want to go to the masterclass on Thursday, there's a link somewhere. Look, it's a link somewhere. Now, if you've been in my master classes before, look, y'all wait for the after party, the party after the party. Here's the link for like the master class. So I'm gonna put my head. Do y'all have questions? Anybody got any questions for me? This is really what y'all be waiting on. But any questions or something?
Actually, I
I bet you, Anthony. Anthony, you met your quota on questions. You out. You out.
Okay. I got two more, real quick. One is a comment. Like I was telling you before, that Alicia and Cynthia and I are joining together to try to do some investments together.
Yeah.
But I want to also, and I'm not trying to tell you how to run your class, but I want to also just suggest to your students to find an accountability partner to
Oh,
work
good.
with. Yeah, so that because I know when you first starting out, it's kind of difficult and you're a
Yeah.
little afraid or intimidated. But if you have an accountability partner, two heads are better than one. Just to
Absolutely.
try to go out there and work together, possibly, or even just exchange ideas. Because sometimes I know, I know getting a hold of you is really easy, but sometimes some people feel intimidated when they first come in. So it may be easier.
Anthony, don't tell these people it's easy to get a hold of me. No, it's not. No, it's not. It is
It is
not.
very easy. Call it anytime, day or night.
It is not easy to get a hold of me. Thank you, Anthony.
But no, that may be something that people might want to think about if you're a beginner. So
Boom.
that's all. So I'm done for tonight. My quota is done.
Yeah, Anthony was in the mentorship. That's why he feel like it's so freely for him to speak in front of everybody. I just want to let y'all know that. So, yes, but no, I think a lot of people. Hold on. Who said something?
This is Tony. How are you?
I'm good, Tony. Hold on, Tony. Let me say this one thing. But like Anthony said, sometimes it is good to have like somebody that you can bounce ideas off of, or might have some more experience than you have, or an accountability partner. But I know you guys, it can be so intimidating in the real estate business to even find people who are willing to share. That's why I do these master classes, because I know they be charging y'all an arm and leg just to give you one website to tell you where to
Exactly.
go. So I get that it can be challenging to even get help from people a lot of times or find out where to go. So, but yes, that can absolutely, definitely, if you have somebody, partner and keep you accountable. Tony, you got it. Go ahead.
Ashley, great class. Thank you for all the information. I had a question though. As it
Yeah.
relates to, you kept referring to Rios, right? So I just want to get a better understanding of that. When when it goes into Rio process, does that mean that at that point it's going to be sold on an open market through a realtor, or do you go directly to the bank? Like, how does that work? Because my understanding is it goes into open market, and then can that possibly create a bidding war because now you're not the only one looking at it?
So, good question. So, when it comes to REOs, it can depend. So, that's why I was given some, and basically, yes, it is open market, but you got to know where to look a lot of times. So, that's like HUD Home Store. Can y'all see my screen? Yes. Yes. Somebody say yes. Okay.
Yes.
So HUD Home Store is one of those sites that you can go and find REO properties. I just put in Chicago and it pulled it up. But yes, to answer your question, a lot of times it will go on. It can be on the MLS, right? If depending on the agent, they'll put it on the MLS. Um, and then they'll put on the MLS, you got it in order to bid, put it here. So it can be competitive with REO properties a lot of times, depending on where you live, depending on the property. But a lot of times people still aren't on like bank owned properties because for such a long period of time, everybody's like, there are no foreclosures, right? Everybody got equity, we got all that. But now for sure they are coming back. And now it's like, okay, that's why I want y'all to learn how to get to them and know how to make offers and all that kind of stuff. So yes, Tony, I know Tony, like Ashley, I asked you one question and you done went all around the world trying to answer.
No, it's all good. I'm getting it. I'm getting it.
So I'm on HUD Home Store, right? And you can come on here and like I'm just clicking on any house. And you'll go down here and it'll have a listing brokers down here. And if you want to submit an offer, you got to log in to submit your bid and all that kind of stuff. But like I don't know if I put this in like if I put this in Zillow with this address come up. I think it just depends, right? But there can be competition on REOs, but HUD Home Store, HomePath, Homesteps.com, those are some good REO sites that you can, if you don't have an agent, you can contact their agent that's representing this house and use them, is what I'm saying. Tony, I done talked so much. Did I answer your question? Tony, what was the question?
Yes, you answered it. You answered it. The only thing that my understanding with the HUD stores, sometimes like it says owner occupant. So you have to actually live there. So you have to go into it knowing that this particular property um
You got to live in, but you wait. You know what I'm saying? That's why they have, I don't know when the rule goes into effect, but after about 30 days, it'll say open for investors. You know what I mean?
oh,
And then you can bid on it like that.
mhm.
Um, you just have to wait. But I don't know when this rule takes effect. And see, if you look on here, everybody, if you've never been on these sites, it'll say it's 203K eligible, FHA $100 down eligible. I don't know what all that is. But go on here and you can see, but it's like submitting a regular contract, right? You use a purchase and sale agreement, you send in your pre-approval letter, you submit your offer, and then they respond back to you and that kind of stuff. So it's the same, but I would always say negotiate, negotiate, negotiate. Y'all with me?
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Ashley, I have a question.
Yes.
So I'm trying to get with the REO, but they saying, well, let me just ask this question. Do you need to have a broker to be under a broker to deal with the REOs with the banks
As a listing agent, is that what you asked, or to buy?
to buy?
No.
Like, I want to be able to get access to the properties. So do I need to be under a broker?
Okay, hold on, Venice.
Yes, you do.
Okay, somebody else understood the question. Okay, you're not representing. You just want to go buy it.
Right.
Yeah, so you gotta. So they have a listing. If you don't have your own, then you would reach out to the listing broker and schedule a time to go look at it. You know what I mean? Or I don't know if like REOs, if they're gonna have a box on some of them and they'll the key code, but I mean they ain't gonna give you the code if you're not an agent. But yeah, you'll have to reach out to get access to the property through the listing agent if you don't have your own agent or if you're not an agent.
No, but if you are, so I'm conflicted because there's certain things you can do without being a agent, right?
Right.
You can get away with doing certain stuff since I'm in creative real estate.
Right.
And so I'm trying to see what's the benefits of me getting. I want to work with REOs, but I don't want to go through the hassle of going through a realtor or like an agency, having to get a broker and all that other stuff. So I'm asking, is that possible to be able to still get your license, go through the REOs directly without having to deal with getting a broker?
So now, so okay, Venice, I swear I asked you, are you trying to list it or are you trying to buy it?
Well, more like buy because I'm doing it with the investors. I'm doing it for investors. So I don't.
So if you're okay, because you like Ashley, and I know Venice, I'm smart. Well, I can understand the question, and I know some of y'all like Ashley. She tried to say,
She's coming.
if you want to buy an REO, you're gonna have to go through an agent. You're gonna have to go through that listing agent. Even if you are an agent, right? If the bank has already listed it with an agent, you're gonna have to reach out to that listing agent, even if you are an agent.
Okay.
Right? Now, if you want to work with the bank as a listing agent, you have to be a real estate agent
License.
licensed under a broker because they're gonna want your broker information and E&O and all that E&O insurance and all that. So
Okay. So for what I'm trying to do, just finding the properties for the investors, do I need to go through that route? Or would it just be better for me to go as a buyer?
so I guess if you just go, I mean, you go. So I look at me because I'm
You
thinking,
need to go to the broker and you
yeah,
need to talk to the broker,
yeah,
and they should know of agents who are REO agents with whatever companies. That's
yeah.
probably the route you need to go because you're not going to do it any other way.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. And then I'm like, if you're trying to be an agent, like now, if you're trying to get paid commission, then you would have to be an agent to talk to list, and then y'all could do the commission wise like that. But if you're like being that head hunter for investors,
Right.
you gonna have to go through an agent. You gonna have to go through the broker
So I
regardless.
don't have to, so I don't have to go through getting a license and doing all that other stuff. So
No,
the benefit to just getting a license and going through a broker is just if you want to get the commission.
or if you want to list them, right? You want to work for the banks, you need to be a broker, or if you want to get that broker commission, then yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Boom. Boom. Look at that. Thank you everybody for your group effort. Venice. Look at you, Venice. But yes, you got it. You got it. So, Stephanie, are these sites free or do you have to pay a membership fee? So the HUD Home Store, Home Path, Home Steps, all free, but you got to go on there and register, you know what I mean? And or reach out to the listing agent to get your contract submitted and all that kind of stuff. Your agent, most agents, if they've done bank owned, a lot of us have like our little logins for HUD Home Store and all that kind of stuff. So, but no, you see how I always take the scenic route to answer questions? Stephanie, the answer is no. You don't have to pay a membership fee. That's all I should have said, huh? Sorry. Acquiring working capital, I believe, is one of the things that keep most business from staying in business. Do you have a class? Dream, we're Dream at asking questions. Do I have a class on acquiring working capital? Anthony gonna have a class on acquiring working capital. He gonna let everybody know when his class is coming out. Anthony will let us know. There it is. Because you're right. That is like a funding is like a lot of people's hurdle to get over when it comes to buying properties. Like a lot of people just don't have the money or something like that. So look at Anthony. Anthony already unmuted. Anthony ready to talk.
Hey, you're right, and it was very intimidating because I didn't have, like I said, I didn't have $100,000 just laying around. So I got with Alicia and Cynthia, and we got together and we figured out a way that we could pool our money together without it being in the same account, but a certain part of it would be tax free.
Yeah.
So we can go into all that later, but I would recommend everybody in the class to find someone else to get with, or you guys can join us if you want. But that's not what I'm here to promote. I'm just promoting something that would make it easy for everybody to get rich.
Yes.
So how do we get with you then? How do we get
Anthony,
with you?
drop your Anthony driving. Look, and I would say Anthony, drop your information.
You got my information, don't you, Ashley?
She asked you for your information, though, Anthony. I'm just
That's right. You're doing all the talking, Mr. Anthony. We need your info.
Okay, wait. I'm gonna give everybody my phone number right on the air.
Okay, let's go.
And please text me first, so because I get a lot of unwanted callers. Anyway, my number is 574.
I'm gonna put in the chat 574
239
239
5412.
5412. Anthony
Yes.
Holiday. There it is, y'all.
Yes.
There's
And
Anthony.
please text me first.
Thank
we
you
go.
so much, and we will text you first.
There you
Okay.
go, Anthony.
Thank you.
Van,
Thank you, Ashley.
you're welcome, Anthony. Where to find how much a property is owed to the bank? Like I said, Anthony is look, Anthony over there starting a hedge fund is what he over there doing. Pulling money together to buy properties. If y'all are interested in that, I guess I do need to do a masterclass on funding, right?
That's a great idea.
I bet it is, Wanda. Wanda, since you were the one first, Wanda, you do a masterclass on.
No, you the expert, honey, not me. I'm listening to you. I'm learning a lot.
I'm glad y'all are learning a lot, honestly. Okay, where to find how much a property is owed to the bank. So Van, like I was saying, when they were talking about buying an REO property, I would look on, let's just do an example really quickly. You guys follow me here. Follow me down the yellow brick road. I was about to say the red brick road. Here is a trustee. Here's a foreclosure person, right? He does foreclosure trustees. I always talk about Ruben Lublin. I auction for him. So I'm going to just give you an example. So here are some Georgia auctions that are coming up next week. So I would take a property, right? If I was bidding on a property, let's say it's on the REO list, and I would, let me find another screen to put this on so we can all see. If you are not an agent, like if it's not in a city where you live, you don't have the MLS, because you know if you're an agent with the MLS, you can see past history of when the person bought the house. So let's just say what I would do is maybe you can come on Zillow. And a lot of times Zillow, not saying we trust Zillow with our lives, but sometimes Zillow will show how much, see, this one, price history is unavailable. It would be unavailable, wouldn't it? But a lot of times it'll tell you how much they paid for the house. If Zillow doesn't show it, Realtor.com might show it. If you can't go on there, you can check your county records and deeds office and try to pull up that property maybe and see if you can see when they bought it there. Because you can look at the title to see when they bought it. If not, you can look on PropWire if y'all are familiar with PropWire. PropWire.com. See, this is how the master classes end up lasting till tomorrow. Because we do all this right here. This is how y'all get me with your trickery. So here is the property. I'm on PropWire, and you can look at history, and it looks like 2023 is this. Now it says transfer. This house been in foreclosure. So you could say sale price 138 is what he paid for. And I'm just looking at this quickly. But though the question was, how do you find? PropWire might be a good place. Your county records and deeds. Sometimes Zillow will show the last time the property was sold. And if you're an agent, you can look on the MLS. See, that's how I'm supposed to answer questions. When I answer questions, I take the scenic route and just keep talking. But that's a way you can find how much they paid for it. So they just bought it in 2023. So that opening bid is probably going to be high. If they just bought it 2 years ago for 138, that opening bid probably going to be right up there at 130, 138, depending on how long they have not paid their mortgage. So now if they bought it in 2012, then that whole loan should almost be gone, hopefully. And then the opening bid would be lower. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Okay, hold on. Grandmaster Class Crown Work. What does he? Oh, okay, boom, boom, boom. I'm trying to. Anybody have questions while I'm trying to read the chat? Jump on in there. PropStream too. You're right. PropStream costs $99. PropWire is free, $99. Free, $99. If you want to hop on PropWire.
Ashley, I have a question.
Yes, Raymond. What do you got going on?
How are you?
I'm good. How are you up there in New York? What you got going on?
Pretty good. Um, for the next are you gonna be covering how to um do auction online?
Oh, for the I'm like, Ramon, you trying to give me another class? Yes. So on Thursday's class, am I going to be talking about online auctions and in-person auctions? Yes, the class on Thursday. And we're
So it's
going
gonna be both in person and also online.
how to bid on both of them. Yeah, I'm going to talk about both of those. Yes, in the class on Thursday. And we're going to go over title, how to read title, all that kind of stuff so you don't buy the wrong lien, how to set your budget, all that kind of stuff, how to find auction properties and all of that. That's what we're discussing on Thursday. Yes.
Have you done any online auctions?
I have not conducted those, but I've helped people bid like online auctions when people call me and they're like, I found a property online I want to bid on. So, yes, and we can walk through that in that process and how do the process of bidding online. Yes. Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Am I missing any questions, you guys?
I put a question in there, actually goes back to online auctions. I've seen REO properties up for bid on
Yes.
auction.com. So I was confused by that because I thought REOs were done, just like a typical MLS listing versus being bid. And so I was just wondering, how does that work? Like, do they follow the same rules? Can you see the property? Or like where you can't see the property first and you have to bring the check immediately, or are they different because they're REOs? I put an example in there, but yeah, you can pull up other examples, but I was
Gotcha.
confused by that.
Yes. So you're right on auction.com. And sometimes I'm like, I get confused too. And sometimes, so auction.com, Realty Track, Hubzu, like you can enlist their services, right? Like as the bank, if you don't want to put it on HUD Home Store, you can pay auction.com to bid it for you. Like even as a private seller, if you had a house, you could call auction.com and they would auction it off for you, right? So let's see. And you're right. A lot of times on here where it says REO properties, it'll look like there's a bidding period. So I guess the bank would rather you bid on it here than because it's showing bank owned for sure. But the bank, I guess, is going because it's the bank and they can do, I guess, whatever they want with the property. They can do it auction style instead of like on HUD Home Store or with a listing agent. It just depends on the bank or the lender who has that property. So let's look on here. So this is a bank-owned property here in Memphis. You got to register to bid. Let's keep current bid 60,000. You got to bid in increments of 10,000. Reserve not met. So it started today and it's running through the 29th. Current bid is 60,000. So what I would do, y'all didn't even ask me what I would do. This property may be occupied, the buyer title and liens, cash only, broker co-op not offered. Hudgens. This is one. And the only reason, and I can't do this for every city, the only reason I can look at this property is because I know every property that's in foreclosure in Memphis. And this one is, there are people still living in this property, actually. This one is showing, y'all gotta bear with me while I look at this one. Bank owned already, but this one was on the foreclosure list. So I don't know how this one, bank are typically sold through online auction. These properties are owned by the lending institution. So I guess they've already, let's see, hold on. You guys, y'all know, you know, if you've ever been on my masterclass, I have to do a little research while y'all are here with me, do a little digging. But it looks like you bid on it. To answer your question, you bid on it the same way, register to bid. It is current bid is 60,000. You got to bid in 10,000 increments. So they're doing it like a regular auction instead of like an REO property. But again, it just depends on your lender and what they want to do with it. Because
Does that mean you can't see the property first?
it doesn't look like, not on this one. This property may be occupied and the buyer will be responsible for obtaining possession after closing. So it'll tell you on this one. This one is occupied. But other ones, like on HUD Home Store, you can go in, make appointments with the agent and go see it. So I guess it just, but this one, I don't know when the auction, I think the auction is like, I thought this one was scheduled for May 29th. Hold on, let me go back. And I can only do this on properties that are in Memphis because I just know the properties that are in Memphis. I thought this one was scheduled. But it looks like the bank already took it back. I don't know what made them lender instead of having it. My point is, I know y'all are like, Ashley, what's going on in your head? Instead of having it go to foreclosure auction, it's showing that the lender already basically repossessed it and the lender is auctioning it off with the homeowner still. You just got to read sometimes on some of these.
Okay.
I know you're like, what, Ashley? But I'm over here like looking at that one as well. But just read, it'll tell you like if it's occupied, if it's not occupied. But usually, like HUD Home Store, Home Path, Home Steps, those are empty. You can get an inspection. You have a listing agent. You can go in there and look at it. But auction.com, it looks like this lender is using auction.com.
So maybe that's why they're doing it on auction.com
Yeah.
because it's occupied. So they're treating it the same way as if it were a foreclosure up for auction.
Yeah, so just make sure you read
Okay.
on
Thank
stuff
you.
like that. But yes, but typically, I don't want you to feel like, but typically, yes, you can go in. It's a lockbox. You can schedule your appointment, do inspections, all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
I look
Thank
at
you.
this lender like I'm over it. Just auction off with the people in it. They're not answering the phone. They're not talking to us. But yeah, so that makes you a little concerned too, huh? The bank just decides to auction it off anyway. Anyway, okay, but yes, to answer your question there, you guys. Any other questions, you guys? Hold on, I see some chat going. I am not a pro. Lola, what is the cost of the master class? Where's the time? Do you have a schedule of your upcoming classes? Y'all, look, I'm trying. Y'all know me. I've been doing master classes for the last year and a half. I try to have one at least once a month to try to teach you, something because I know everybody, like I said, they be busting your head on these master classes and don't teach you anything. So, the master class on Thursday, it is a paid one. It's $47, but it's because I'm going to give y'all all the resources, right? I'm going to give you a title search checklist. I'll probably give you a calculator. I'll give you all the stuff that comes with it. Let me drop the link again in the chat. So if y'all want to come, and usually those are smaller, so I can talk to you, answer questions, that kind of thing. Let me get back, put this back in the chat. You guys, it is 8:36. This is how we end up having like the party after the party. There's the link. Boom, 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 boom. I don't have a schedule, y'all. Sometimes I just sit at home and I'm like, what do I get a whole bunch of questions about? What am I going to teach this month? Right? Like I just come, I guess if y'all tell me really what y'all want me to teach. But y'all know it's summertime. I'm not sure if y'all know I'm your auction mama, but I'm also Gabby's mama, right? And Gabby is out of school, right? It is summer break over here, and I'm about to be a volleyball mama. So Ashley is kind of stepping back a little bit from all this and trying to, we playing volleyball, and I ain't never been a sport mama. So this is all new to me. So yeah, and we got practice on Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays. So, right. So pray for your auction mama.
Oh, wait until them tournaments hit, Ashley.
Hey, we playing for
Enjoy
the
those tournaments.
Oh my
playing for
God,
the
I am worn out and the
mm-mm,
season ain't even over yet.
we playing for the school, baby. Ain't nobody said no club volleyball, no AAU. We playing for the school.
You
That's
sure she
all
ain't
we're
gonna
doing.
change her mind?
That's all we doing is volleyball.
Mhm.
Look, we're new. We brand new. So we just gonna be trying to make the team. Look, that's all we're trying to do, make the team. So Um, that's all I got, you guys. Unless what else y'all want to ask me? Anything else y'all want to know? Kia, what you doing?
What am I
BPOs?
doing?
Yeah. Watch, Kia, how many BPOs you done did this month? Mm,
Oh, this month?
the last 2 months. What month do you want to share with everybody? How many BPOs you done, Kia?
I think I'm at 206 for the month.
BPOs. If you don't know what a BPO is, broker price opinion. It's what the banks, when homeowners get behind on their mortgage, the banks will send an agent out to just do a drive-by of the house to see if somebody lives there, is it vacant, is it occupied, and report back to the bank for them to let them know the condition of the property, right? So, Kia, we own Kia in Virginia, up there in Virginia. I thought everybody paid their bills in Virginia too. I don't know. Connecticut. I thought everybody's paying their bills in Connecticut too.
Hey, Kia,
Hey,
Connecticut got problems.
Kia, what company you work for?
which one I don't work for?
Look, all of them. All of them.
Currently, I'm looking up real quick because I don't want to tell no stories. I don't do the fibbing. I want to say
You're an agent, right?
yes, I am.
Okay.
I'm an agent, and I've been doing these for 3 years now. And
You're in Virginia?
yes,
How-
I'm in Virginia. So I'm primarily in Richmond, Virginia, but I travel. So like yesterday, I went to one that was like 2 hours and 15 minutes away, but at the same token, I got paid $390 to do it.
Ooh, good for you.
So yeah, so Key over there doing 200 and she's seeing the numbers double on up. So I will like, there's what's some sites? Equator, those are ones
Um, for the BPOs, Clear Capital,
Uh-huh.
definitely the main one you want to go to. They're like the number one in the BPO world.
Okay.
They're not going to give you a REO,
Okay.
but it's some good in between money.
Okay.
Right behind that, RR Review.
R review. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
RR review.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And let's see, Clear Capital, RR Review. If you want something, it doesn't pay a lot. It's property condition reports.
Right.
You take the 6 pictures and you answer like 10 questions, so it's really quick.
Mm-hmm.
$20. But I looked at my 1099 from last year and
Mm-hmm.
I made like $10,000 off of doing those.
Oh, okay.
Not even for
Okay.
the whole year.
Hey,
So
it's extra
kinda,
money and it's in your pocket.
yeah,
Yeah.
it adds up.
Mm-hmm.
And
So
when you're doing those, you guys, like y'all, listen to
that's your drive for dollars, but getting paid to drive for dollars. That's the
right.
way I look at it.
And I
Mm-hmm.
look at it like you guys, y'all wanted the first hand look on who in foreclosure. when the bank call you and tell you they behind, drive by
Mm-hmm.
you there because they behind on their mortgage. You know what I mean? That's like,
Mm-hmm.
And then E Street is another one that's really good if you're an agent because those address that they're giving is for
Mm-hmm.
Shell Point, and
Okay.
that is where I'm most successful when I drop the letters in the mail that Ashley gives us, where they'll
Mm-hmm.
call me back because most of them are trying to still do a forbearance
Okay.
and they're tapping out. And I forgot who I was listening to on YouTube today. They were interviewing somebody and they were saying the moratoriums are coming to an end in October. So the
Okay.
waterfall of, hey, roll over to this from the pandemic, all
Mm-hmm.
that's taking a hard stop in October.
Okay. Well,
yeah,
thank you so much. I appreciate it. That was good info.
Yeah, no problem. And Ashley, to answer you, year to date, I've done 1,226 reports.
Woo, girl, go ahead.
yeah. So keep
Congratulations.
there's
Thank
always like
you.
different channel, like different things you can do when it comes to real estate and distressed market and that kind of stuff. BPOs, like I said, property preservation, you know what I mean? Landscaping. We got REO listing agents. There's always, and I have to say this, look, this is how we go all night because I get to talking. When I put my leg up, that means like the class is over. This is officially like after the party. But I will say when you get your real estate license, a lot of agents don't work. And Keel said this too. They don't know anything about the foreclosure market. They don't know anything about distress market. If you go in your office and you're like, I want to start working with foreclosures, they're gonna be like, ain't no foreclosures. Everybody got equity. Like everybody's like, I don't know. You find a handful of people who might have been around for the last since 2008 who can talk about foreclosures, but most real estate offices not talking about foreclosure or trying to teach you or show you where to go to get REO deals and all that kind of stuff.
I did get certified, but I haven't done anything with it. And it's I think it's the C2EX or something like that. It's one of those classes like that. And
Yeah.
so now I'm trying to figure it out. So
Get
hey.
on there. Like there's an art, like, and again, it's so like kind of hush, even like auctions and stuff. A lot of people, that's why I started making videos about auctions because a lot of people have no idea how auctions work. So I
Hmm.
started, teaching people how to go buy at the auction. So, there are, Equator is a good site. So I'm just saying, like, if you're a real estate agent, I know, like I said, I don't be fooling with on market deals, but I pay attention to what's going on over there with y'all on the residential side. So I know it's a little slow on residential market side right now. So
Yeah.
I would say, so there is like REO network. It's a real estate network. You can sign up with them and find out about the conferences and how to get certified. Bubba Mills is a good REO. Now he gonna charge you for your class, but you're gonna be certified and he gonna tell you like he gonna put you on with these REO banks and kind of stuff like that.
Hmm.
Equator is a good site to sign up for. Um,
Okay.
and I don't want you look, Wanda, look at Wanda. Thank you, Wanda, for talking back to me. Thank you. I feel like I'm talking to myself over here. Wanda over there, like, uh-huh, yeah, like it's me or her.
And I'm writing down too, honey.
Yes. So and again, because I know some of y'all are not licensed, right? But there's still, y'all can drive for dollars. Y'all can do that if y'all want to. Y'all can go to the auction. You don't have to be licensed to go to the auction. You can still buy REO properties. You just got to go through that listing agent. But you know what I mean? You can do that. Also, like I was saying, the vendors, property preservation, trash out. I always say in 2008, I know a guy made a killing off of property preservation during the last downturn in the market. Property preservation, clean outs, trash outs, landscaping. They ask for all those kind of things. They need those people when these foreclosures start coming down the pipeline. So I try to do this hopefully as a being proactive and not being reactive when it comes to foreclosures because they're coming, regardless to what the news says, regardless to what anybody says. You heard it here first, folks. The
Hmm.
foreclosures are coming for
They're in
sure.
force. They're coming
Yeah.
in forces.
So just a lot of people, like during the last, I know y'all thought I was 26, but I was 21 during the last how in 2000, I got licensed in 2006. So I was 21, like during the last housing downturn. So I couldn't really capitalize on that, right? I'm 21, just getting licensed out of college. So for a lot of us, you guys, this next downturn, I am not saying that the market is crashing, but I'm saying during the next foreclosure wave, this will be a time for a lot of people to make some money for sure, right? So I just say be proactive, learn these sites, save these sites, go to the auction, start getting your credit right, doing what you need to do. So you'll be ready when it comes and you're not sitting on the sidelines like, dang it, I missed this one too. I missed 2008. I missed 2025, 26, 27, whenever it's coming. You know what I mean? That's all I can say is get in the game, you guys. Get in the game. Get in the game. Okay, you ain't gotta have a whole bunch of money. I'm just telling you. Can that be easy?
This was definitely a class because I haven't been on your website in a while. So
Yeah.
this was definitely enlightening because I do want to buy property myself. So this is very helpful. Very
Yeah.
helpful information. And I always come to you looking at foreclosures anyway. So
Thank
hey,
you. I'll
yes.
show y'all. Look, since I got y'all, I'll show you. Y'all only got 13 minutes left. Y'all got 13 minutes. We're all going to bed because I know Kia on the East Coast is almost 10 o'clock there. Kia gonna put on her bonnet and turn off her camera in just a few minutes. I know. When Kia's screen go dark, that means it's late. Now y'all on the West Coast, y'all know what I'm about to say on the West Coast. Y'all just woke up over there eating your poached eggs and your tofu scramble. I get it. So let me real quick, because some of y'all asked me about auctions that I show. I try to share some sites with y'all to find auctions real quick. Let's do one of the companies that I work for. Y'all be blowing them up too. They call me be like, Ashley, somebody said they watched your masterclass and they just called up here. Don't call up, they're harassing the people, y'all. This is a trustee sales site, you guys. It shows properties all across the country, right? This is this week's. That's how I pulled some of those sites that I put in the masterclass. I will drop it in the chat for you. They update every Friday. Now, let's look. This is how I go into teacher mode real quick. You guys, 3 phases of foreclosure, right? The first one, the homeowner gets behind, notice of default is filed. That's the first phase, pre-foreclosure, right? Second phase, the auction is scheduled. The property goes up for auction. And the third phase is the bank repossesses the property. It doesn't sell at auction and reverts back to the bank. You, all my pre-foreclosure people, all my people who don't want to go to the auction, all those, Sania, I don't know if she's still on here, you can talk to home if they have an auction scheduled. The homeowner
Here.
is still the decision maker. Sania, look, there you go. The homeowner is still the decision maker. A lot of y'all get scared when you see an auction date and you're like, I can't reach out to them. They got an auction scheduled. No, that homeowner can still sell their house all the way up until their auction date, right? So if somebody's got an auction next Friday, you can call them and say, hey, you think you might want to sell your house, right? You got an auction on Friday. Don't say it like that. You got to lead with love. But I'm letting you all know if you needed permission from somebody, all the way up until that auction date, you can talk to that homeowner and see if they want to sell. Like all the way up until that auction date, they can file bankruptcy and cancel that auction. Just for everybody who did not know that. So when I show you auction sites, this is also like kind of pre-foreclosure sites, right? So here is a site. And this is this week's auctions. I posted, Sania got her hand up. I just got an alert. Sania Sanders raised her hand. Talk to me.
Um, Now, when it comes from pre-foreclosure to foreclosure, how long does it take before it goes to auction?
So pre-foreclosure, remember, that's mean they're just behind. The bank has not officially sent them that notice of default, that notice of sale. They just behind, right? They
Mhm.
just ain't paid. They get that letter. When they get that notice of sale, it will say, you are in foreclosure. They'll get a couple letters that say you got to pay, you got to pay, you got to pay. Then
Mhm.
eventually it says they get a notice that says your notice of sale. You have to pay your complete past due balance. It could be
Mhm.
5,000, 10,000, $100,000, depending on how far behind they are. You
Mhm.
need to pay your past due balance, or your house is going up for auction in 30 days.
Okay.
Usually, I live in Memphis. So we are a non-judicial state, right? You can get behind, they will file that notice of sale and they will take your house in 30 days here in Tennessee in Shelby
Oh,
County. Depending on if you live in a judicial state. If you live in a judicial state, it takes longer. They can go to court. The homeowner can file, y'all know in judicial states. Um, I don't live in one, but I know y'all got like 180 days to file something. So those can take a long time, right?
okay.
Maryland is one. Maryland is a judicial state. I
Yeah,
have a friend who's in foreclosure and it's 168 days. And then it goes down to 45 days. And then that's when someone can buy your home, an investor or whoever.
yeah.
It
So it
goes
just
to that.
depends on where you live, how quickly that auction can come, right?
Okay.
So, but up until that auction, that homeowner is the decision maker and they can sell, they can file bankruptcy, they can lose their house, they can walk away if they want to. So
Okay.
this is
Thank you.
absolutely. This is a site, I'll drop it in the chat just for y'all to keep up with some upcoming auctions. Y'all bookmark it. It'll tell you previous auctions from throughout the year. It looks like all the way back to August. So if you're following on a property, if you're following a property and you want to see how much it's sold for, you can come on here and it does not have all of them, right? But if you see one on here and you were thinking about bidding on it, and you can see how much it sold for, if it didn't sell, if it got postponed, if it got canceled, all that kind of stuff. So here's a site that you can bookmark and see. It's just another auction. It's a trustee site. So that is for y'all. I'll drop that in the chat and then I will drop the other site that I was on earlier. Y'all really still in here. Y'all just refuse to go to bed. So here is, I just dropped it in the chat. Hold on. Lola said, are these homes able to do inspections? I had difficulty when I won a house on Zone recently as lender wanted inspection and bank refused. Okay, Lola. So, homes able to do inspection. It's going to depend, right? Like auctions, you cannot do any inspections on auctions because people live there. So, it will be harder for you to like, because lenders gonna want to do an appraisal. So, if the auction, that's probably you can't do financing at especially trustee auctions. If you're doing an online auction, you can't get access. That's going to be the thing. In order to get your traditional financing, they're going to want an appraisal done. They want to do an inspection before they lend you any money. They're not going to let you do that with traditional financing. Now, with an REO, like for real, HUD, Home Store, Home Path, Home Steps, you can get inspections because you call that agent and they're going to say, yeah, you can go through and take your inspector, get an appraisal. We'll open the door for the appraisal. So auctions and stuff like you can't do traditional financing. They're not going to let you in. The homeowner going to be really have an attitude. I want to buy your house at auction. Can I bring my home inspector in here? They're going to be like, ma'am, no, I'm still in here with my family. We eating breakfast. So here is a site. I dropped it in the chat, and here is the other site I was on earlier for your Georgia. Who is it? Georgia, Mississippi, Tennessee, and Alabama people. They have, and you can see this, you guys. Watch, look at this, you guys. I'll be talking to y'all like it's just two people on here, but it's me and 50 of y'all. Look at Georgia. So what did I say? Georgia auctions the first Tuesday of the month, which is when? Next week. Check out Georgia. Here is Atlanta, and this is not all of them. This is just one trustee that handles Georgia. So it comes, I guess the third is the first Tuesday of the month. So Georgia, all the counties, Decatur, some of them have opening bids, some of them don't. I had a guy on here on one of my master classes, and I think I showed a property. He was about to buy a condo, and I showed a condo on here that was in foreclosure. And so he ended up reaching out to them instead of trying to buy the expensive one and ended up trying to getting the one that was in foreclosure because he saw it on a master class. I was like, good. But here are, and then if you keep going, here's July auctions. They got July. Look at Atlanta. Atlanta.
Question.
Go ahead.
So I'm in a much smaller market in Little Rock, Arkansas.
Come on,
So,
neighbor. I see you, neighbor. Go ahead. Mm-hmm.
so I'm guessing everything that it's my first time being on your class. So I'm guessing you're showing me I can do it here in Little Rock.
Anywhere, anywhere. Let's do Little Rock. Let's talk Little Rock, Arkansas. Who handles Arkansas? So if I was looking for a property, and let's say I'm going to show y'all a little trick that I show everybody. So if we're doing Little Rock, Arkansas, look at you, neighbor, right here across the bridge. Little Rock, Arkansas. You can put on, I'm on auction.com right now. You can do city, state, zip, right? It's one site that you can do. You could filter it by foreclosure homes. These are auctions. And see, they have properties that are up for auction. Looks like May 30th in person at the courthouse if you want to go to the courthouse. You can also, if you were trying to find the sites that I was showing you, like the trustee sites where they posted on their website, you could come down here. And if you see where it says foreclosure contact info, here's the trustee. I auction for Wilson. Wilson does not have a website. He's like the worst trustee ever. He does not post his properties. But that's a way you could find trustees that work Arkansas. Let me see who else does Arkansas. Logs might do Arkansas. These are all trustees. These are all attorneys that represent the banks. And so when you go into foreclosure, Bank of America is only going to call you a certain amount of times, and then they're going to turn your file over to the foreclosure attorney or the trustee. These are those people who handle those files. These are the websites that I'm going to now. No, logs don't do Arkansas. But here's if you live in Alabama, Arizona, Connecticut, Georgia, Illinois, Maine, Massachusetts, all of these, logs.com is another foreclosure trustee site that handles all of these states. Logs that rhymes with dogs, logs. I can be a little country, so you might not understand what I said. Logs.com. I'm on PropWire. Let's do Little Rock and PropWire and see what we can get. I know some of y'all like, Ashley, really, you done changed. Little Rock, Arkansas. We can filter it by.
And I guess I do have another question. So I'm a property manager and I've been doing the property management for 10 years, but actual physical property management for about 3 years. And I'm looking to get into real estate. And so I'm obtaining my first real estate deal through the NACA program with building. But I guess my question is, once I do that, I can just jump into foreclosures after.
Yes. So you work property management and doing first deal through NACA. So you're an agent. Agent?
No, I'm just a property manager.
That's a property manager. Okay. And so when you say now you can do foreclosures, tell me what you want to do with foreclosures.
Gotcha. So I don't know, after watching all of this, it's a lot. It's over.
What were you thinking? What direction were you trying to go? Look at us. This is like one of them live action shows. Tell me what you like. Would somebody call in and I try to answer the question when you call in? What's the game plan when it comes to foreclosures? What you want to do?
Well, I saw you on YouTube and I was just like, well, I want to do multifamily homes.
Okay.
So, yeah.
When you say you want to do multifamily, you want to buy them and own them, or you want to manage them, or tell me what you want to do?
Buy and own.
Okay, so you want to be an investor and buy multifamily homes, right?
Yes.
Boom, I got you. Now I'm with you. Now I'm with you on the same page. So so I guess you could first, okay, so if we're on PropWire, you would just need to find, now hold on, you want multifamily in foreclosure? Are we adding another layer to your to what you want, or you just want multifamily?
No, foreclosure. I want to get a deal.
Okay. Okay. So let's talk about, okay, let me not okay. So I looked in Little Rock because if somebody is watching me, I don't want them to be confused. I went on PropWire. I pulled Little Rock. I filtered it by pre-foreclosures. Boom. I hate the new setup of PropWire, but I won't complain. And it'll tell you all the pre-foreclosures. It gave me 24. I hate how this looks. Y'all, if you've been on PropWire, you know they changed the whole, like.
Yeah, property type. Where's property type? More filters.
Yeah, you do multifamily on here. So if you were going to look on PropWire for foreclosures, see, I didn't think it was going to pull. I was going to go to a commercial website for foreclosures, but I just didn't want anybody on here to be confused. I did Little Rock. I did filters by pre-foreclosure. So no matter where you live, PropWire, you can put the county, the city, the address, the zip code. I always tell people to put in their own zip code, and you're going to see how many foreclosures are around you. And I filtered it by pre-foreclosure. But you can, on PropWire, filter it by single family, condo, townhouse, boom, and it'll tell you how many there are. We got 21. I didn't filter it by anything. These are single family. But the new prop wire, I hate it. Like I don't even get like the little street. Well, here's one street view. But most of the time when I click on it in Memphis, it's like a picture of a tree and some steps. Like it's not even the picture of the house when I click on it. So, but prop wire, you can filter it that way. I was gonna say check out, what are my commercial sites? CREXI is a good commercial.
What is it called? Crooksy? Crooksy?
CR, so it's the acronym for commercial real estate. So CREXI
Okay.
is
Okay.
the site, and you can filter it by multifamily, right? Oh, I didn't know they had like student housing, RV park, apartment building, and then you can put where you live in here. Um, if I was doing multifamily, look, I always had to think about if it was me and I was trying to find multifamily properties. You could do, you could do commercial. See, I just know everybody's not me. Like,
She can look at LoopNet too.
yeah, you can do
LoopNet is another
LoopNet
one.
is a good one. CREXI, LoopNet. I just know you don't be want to pay the strength is the thing that, that's always me. I'm always gonna try to get a discount on a property for sure, for sure. Um, there's multifamily on LoopNet. That's why I say, you guys, you've heard me say, that's why I say I'm a hunter, right? I'm going to go try to find the properties. I'll reach out to landlords. I'll reach out to investors. I'll filter it by properties that I want. And then I'll reach out to them and see if they're open to selling it to me or if they're tired, or I'll approach them to see if they're willing to sell um, their property just because, and it's just me. You don't have to be like me. I don't want to deal with the middleman. I always want the best deal possible. Like, and I'm not afraid to go after, like, I'm a hunter. I will hunt for my deals, right? I'll go straight to the homeowner. So here is LoopNet, and I put in Arkansas for sale, and here's some multifamily properties available, right? Now, I don't know. I don't think they're like foreclosure is the thing. You know what I mean? Um, you don't have to hunt for those. But PropWire had multifamily, and you live in Arkansas. And I'm saying it because I know where you live. You a neighbor to me.
Where are you?
I'm in Memphis. So
Oh, wow.
types pre-foreclosures. You know what I'm saying? Those are going to be things that I maybe HUD, Home Store, and all those, but I think multifamily, they probably going to snatch those up a little bit. Pre-foreclosures, let's filter it by multifamily, and let's see what we get. Hold on, it's not 2,124 property types. Yeah, it didn't do it. I'm like, I know it's not that many. It didn't pull any for that. So what I would do, you might can do tired landlords. Look, that's what they have that one on here too. Tired land. I know y'all are like, Ashley, really? We still in this masterclass. It's 9 o'clock. I'm about to hang up the phone in a few minutes. Yeah. Auction.com. Let's try one more. And then I'm gonna have to do some research for you. Auction.com has a filter for multifamily,
Well, I know my market is a smaller market, so
Yeah, and that's what I know y'all's, yeah, yeah. Look at me. Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Um, when you ask me a question, I'm gonna start digging for it to try to find it. I'll have to look and see, but there are some because auction date, square feet, multi-family. Here we go. Let's see if it gave us anything. No matching price. Yeah, because Little Rock is just Little Rock.
But like you said, Ashley, she can negotiate even if she doesn't find a foreclosure. She
Yeah,
still can negotiate because the days on the market is what is going to get you a discount. Remember that.
absolutely. Absolutely. And you got a lot of tired landlords out here who got tenants who not paying. And I've seen people on YouTube say they go on Zillow, and if you look
Uh-huh.
under renters, like a rental property, and it's a
Yes.
property that's been on there for a long time, and you can tell that
Yes. They
investor
do that too. Yep.
can't rent it out, they might be one willing to sell. You know what I mean? Them tired landlords who can't get their properties rented out. So
Right.
Yes.
sometimes you just got to be
Hmm.
creative. You know what I mean? Just throw it out there and see what stick. Go to the people who can't find renters. You're right. And in today's market, look, negotiate. You know what I mean? If they sitting on the market, that's a negotiation tool. Days on market and repairs needed in the condition of the house.
And
Nego
Zillow is good too, like Ashley said, because you do have people who scour Zillow and they call you have a number on there that you can actually call the homeowner, and that will even, you can negotiate and talk with them. So
Yep.
yeah, Ashley is right.
So look at Wanda. Thank you, Wanda, for backing me up. She'll say Ashley is right. That's right. Um, But I saw somebody comment on the commercial site. Was it, I don't know which one you wanted me to go back to, CREXI or LoopNet. Let me know. But that's the website. But sometimes you just got to be creative. Like there was a point when I like duplexes, right? I like duplexes. I will filter a search by duplex, right? I will filter here you can go on PropWire, filter it by duplex, and I'll start sending letters to people, right? Sometimes you just throw stuff up and see what sticks, you know what I mean? And they might be interested in selling, and I can make a letter sound real good if you know me. I'm gonna be like, I've lived in Memphis my whole life. I went to University of Memphis, and I'm just, trying to expand my portfolio. I'm not trying to harass you, you know? You just, with some I can hunt real good. Let me just say that. I can hunt real good. So, um,
Ashley's funny.
and people like that. Like I'll even put in my letter and I'll tell y'all this. I'll say something like, and that's why I sent you this letter, because I'm not gonna call you and harass you. So if you want to call me back, here's my phone number to call me back,